I've been asked about an initiative, a program that I've established a few months back in March 2023. It's called the Gladys Robinson Program. And what's it all about? Okay, so I'm going to tell you. The Gladys Robinson, for a start, is the name of my grandmother. She's the one that raised me till I was 8 years old in Jamaica. So all my formative years, my early childhood years, it's my grandmother, not my mother, who was looking after myself and my elder brother Lloyd in Jamaica. And so because of that, first 8 years of my life was with my grandmother. She was the one that was looking after me, caring for me, nurturing for me, doing everything for me as a little baby, as a child growing up. So I have a lot of affection for my grandmother, a lot of love. And it was very, very, very difficult for me when she passed. Very, very painful, because that was somebody who was a very substantial key figure in my life. But of course, you know, that's life, the cycle of life, right? The circle of life, as they call it. And so she passed. Now, as part of the Rhema Bible Church ministry, one of the things that I've always been very keen on is looking after children, and we do that. Feed them, clothe them, look after them in special orphans, and hundreds of them, but also the elderly, because I have a fondness and a love for the elderly, senior citizens. And so I named the project, the program, looking after the elderly people in our communities. I call that the Gladys Robinson Project. Gladys Robinson being my grandmother. You can see her now on the screen. That is the beautiful lady that looked after me when I was young in Jamaica with my brother Lloyd until I was 8 years old, when I came to England and joined my mother and all of that. Now, this program, the Gladys Robinson Project, as we call it, is very dear to my heart, because when I'm looking after these elderly people, I'm looking after them with the love that I had for my own grandmother. This is why I'm doing it. This is why the program was established. So people who are otherwise isolated, they're in their homes, they don't have their siblings around with them anymore, their children around, or they have traveled, or there's a disconnect in the family, whatever reason, but they're alone in the village somewhere, in rural area, by themselves. Husband may have died, or the wife may have died, and they're lonely, and they don't have much. Not much food, not much medical care, not much of attention. And so the life, if you can imagine, in these developing countries can be very, very difficult. There's no welfare state like you have in the UK. So if I can, I want to look after as many of these people as possible. And so now we have, in different countries, the Gladys Robinson Project, which has started. It started actually in Malawi and in Mozambique, those two countries. And it's been going to be broadened out, because Rhema as a ministry, we operate in 34 countries. And I want this in everywhere we go as a footprint, our Bible school branches, our churches. I want the Gladys Robinson Project. So in between Malawi and Mozambique right now, where we started, we look after about 150 currently. This is October 2023. We look after about 150 at the moment. And it's a joy to be able to do that. So we bring them to our center a couple of times a week. We provide hot meals for them. We serve them, we cook for them, we look after them. We have games so that they can interact with each other, and also meet people of their age group, meet their peers, rather than being isolated in different homes, different parts. Because in Africa and other countries, you have one house over here and then another 100 meters, 200 meters down the road. So it's not like in England that you can just go next door, right? These are houses that spread out, so they can really be lonely. We bring them, right? Let them get a little exercise as well, right? So they leave their house, they walk to the place, then they interact with their peers. So we'd have card games maybe for them. We'd have different speakers. We sing with them sometime, pray with them, encourage them, give them a little of the word of God, and just love on them. We give them gifts. We give them goodie bags to take home. So, that's full of food, or we give, so they can cook for themselves when they get back home. And we give them blankets so they can keep warm, different soap and different things, right? Toiletries and different things we do for them. And every now and again, we bring a qualified doctor or a nurse to the center, and they look after them. They check full medical checkup, right? We pay for it, right? But they get all the full medical checkup to make sure that everything is fine with them. If there's any medicine they need or whatever they need, it's just a caring, concerned philosophy that we have, that we're going to look after these people. And that number is growing. It's 150 today, but by the time the end of the year comes, by the time a year from now, we're going to have 300, 500, I don't know. We'll grow it as long as resources-wise, we can help look after them and do it well. Every now and again, we'll also take them on excursions, hire a minibus or a coach. Or we just take them to the seaside, or take them to a town center with all the shops and markets and stuff. And things that we will do with them so that their final days, or the last days on earth, right, what we call the twilight of their lives, right, the evening of their lives, that is a little more pleasurable. Right? They're not isolated and lonely without care and hungry in their food, in their homes. No, we will look after them. Sometimes, many occasions, they don't have family to do that for different reasons. Right? We become their family. We look after them. We make sure they're okay. If there's any problems, we look. So we don't want them going hungry. We don't want them not having clothes in their back or being cold at night. Right? We don't want them sick and can't afford any medical bills, can't afford to see a doctor. These are the things we look after, do for them. Now you can say, well, the governments are there. The government's supposed to be doing these things, right? Equivalent of our social services. They should be. Yeah. I hear all that, but I still see the need. Yeah. So whether or not the government should be doing more, if they have resources, the finances to do more or not, I don't get into all of that. What I get into is, these elderly people before me are struggling. They need help. What can I do? So if I can help, I help. And this is what the Gladys Robinson program is all about. Right? Started with my two wonderful chiefs, my lieutenants in Malawi and Mozambique, a pastor called Pastor René Galimoto, and also Pastor Hedson Maganga. These two brothers who stand with me in this vision, who are leading on this in Malawi and in Mozambique, where we started the program. But like I said, we are going to roll it out into all 34 countries. Wherever I go, wherever I take Rhema as a ministry, we will be looking after the elderly. And the Gladys Robinson program, in honor of my grandmother, will be looking after all the elderly people that we're able to look after, finances permitting, that we're able to look after. And it's a great joy to be able to do that, because, we can be selfish, or we can just be so instant looking after ourselves and, my needs, or we can express the love of Christ, which we have in our hearts, to show love to other people. This is what the Good Samaritan is supposed to do. This is what the Christian is supposed to do. You may not be able to do it in the way that we do it at Rhema, in terms of on a large scale, but we can all do something. Wherever we live, there's elderly people nearby struggling. A kind word, bring them some groceries, look after them, check on them. If it's too cold, snow and all that, check on them. Is everything okay? Are you all right? In winter time, when they are struggling a bit more, they can't go out as readily, knock on the door. Is everything okay? How are you? It just takes a heart and a mind to think on these things, and to then be able to love others. It's a great joy to be able to do that. I recommend it to all our churches. Help those in the community as best you can, because this is the love of God expressed through us to people, and that is a great, great joy.